Welcome, everyone. Simulation Talk 220. We're here. Bella, Ebony's in the house. Chris is in the house. Blue Rooster, how are you guys? Tim, Owl, Brandy. Who else is with us? Sofa King, Terry, how are you, brother? Okay. Good turn up. Welcome, everybody. Also on TikTok, Nico, brother, my brother, how are you? Amy, Basilica, beginning a new dog, Cross. Okay, welcome, everyone. Love and hate. How you doing? Good to have everybody in the house. Welcome to Simulation Talk 220. My name is Danny, and I'm claiming to have found proof that we live in the simulation. What's up, Dino? Matthew J. And we meet here on a semi-daily basis. And we're discussing all kinds of topics, including the simulation, science, philosophy, religion, spirituality. Rebecca. We're not discussing Rebecca, but welcome, Rebecca. Tony. Who else is here? M. Okay. Inky's in the house. Yeah, I know, Chris. This is great. It's a great handle. By the way, if you are willing and you have Twitch, I'm trying to get as many people to listen in real time on Twitch. So if you happen to be there, please go to Twitch. The handle there is LaserX83. Sorry. Yeah, LaserX83. I don't know why I hesitated there. What's up, man? Sonic, Sleepy Owl. We have an owl and a sleepy owl. I guess it's a day owl, huh? Katie, Rebecca. Okay, great. So yeah, if you happen to be able to, please go to Twitch and follow the live from there. The LaserX83. It will definitely help the occurrence there. What were the tones and where on the body were the tones that took you into hyperspace? It always changes, so it's kind of hard to say. It's the different tones. It can be in many different places in the body in different sequences, which I believe are kind of like addresses, where they basically punch in a code to put you in a particular address. So it's not one thing. Simulation saying hello. I'm saying simulation. Hi back to simulation, Sarah. Good to have you. Ebony's in the house. Twitch, and of course, follow our Discord. Go to Dangle Thoughts on YouTube if you want to find the link. It's on the main page on YouTube. Third link from the top, that's our Discord. Come join it. And if you want to know more about what we're doing with the project, you can go to codeofreality.com. And come join us there. We have an incredible community that is growing. And we're very too happy. Very too happy. We're very too happy to have you there. It's good English, me good. There you go. What's up, Blue Rooster? Can you see the core while looking in rainbows or pictures of rainbows? I don't think so. I don't think you can do it with regular light. I know that rainbows are already a form. There are refractions, not diffractions. And it seems that diffraction is key. So it seems so far that it is not possible to see it, at least not with that level of coherence that we do, without diffraction first. When you refract it after you already diffracted the light, it helps. but without diffraction, it seems to be not working. Like a laser pointer is not working. This is why when Terry said he saw it in the laser pointer, I was a little surprised, but I'm also intrigued and interested because I've never heard it actually work that way. But this will be a very important data point. What's up, Jasmine? Mr. Santana. Thank you so much for the likes. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, try it with magnets. Magnets so far don't seem to be making any difference, at least the magnetic fields that we're trying so far. But I do think that more powerful magnetic fields might make a difference. Marsha, thank you so much for the gift. Thank you for the rose. I appreciate you. And thank you for the likes. Thank you, Marsha. Have you talked with your lawyer about the legality of testing the core on your live stream? No, but I think it's very simple. It's you know, as long as you're not doing it on the camera, it's okay. TIL cells have biophoton power source traveling at the speed of light, which is visually perceptible to some. Thank you for sharing, Sarah. I'm not sure. You have to educate me. What is maybe I don't know what TIL cells are. Let's see. Are white blood cells specifically T cells that have migrated into tumor? They are a crucial part of body's immune system. So this is a little bit over my head because my my biochemics is not that strong, and also my biochemistry is not that strong, but also I don't quite understand what that would mean. What would it mean to say biophoton power source traveling at the speed of light? So if it's photons, photons are traveling at the speed of light. What is biophoton power source? What does that mean? Thank you, Jasmine. Appreciate you. Thank you for the gifts. And thank you for the likes. I appreciate you guys. The live is very lively today. I mean, I understand it's a photon that is emitted from your biological system, but what is the biophoton engine? What does that mean? Oh, biophotons are ultra-weak photons of light, typically in the ultraviolet and low visible light range, spontaneously emitted by living organisms. Amazing. They are a form of bioluminescence, but at a much lower intensity than what's usually associated with the term. While not visible to the naked eye, they can be detected by sensitive instruments. Amazing. So again, I'm still failing to see the relevance. If you can just please flesh it out for me. I'm a little slow, I guess. Oh, you're saying it's visible to some, which might explain auras and visual effects. That's interesting. That is really interesting, actually. Never thought about that. What will I do for the simulation talk 1000? That's a good question. Hopefully by then also we have satellites orbiting in space and stuff. Like visual snow. Wait. I got to go to previous comments because I think you asked something before. At saying I have a question. And then I don't really see a question after that. So I don't know if you already asked it. But go ahead, please. Jasmine is asking, like visual snow. Which one are you talking about? You guys are a little vague for me today. What do you mean by visual snow? You mean, yeah, I have no idea what you mean by that. I mean, in reference to what you guys were speaking of with the auras. Yeah, but I kind of got that part. But what do you mean by visual snow in that regard? You mean like the snow on TV, like the interference pattern? Space is real? No, of course space is not real. Don't be silly. Owl on YouTube is asking, when you say visual snow, do you mean like HPPD symptom, which I also don't know what it is? Do they all the acronyms? Oh, I do know what it is. Because about persistent visual distortion of flashbacks, that kind of stuff. Your aura is caused by your body magnetic field. Just saying. All right. Some people, myself included, see scintillation. All right. Get YouTube to smoke the molecule so we can communicate with hyperspace directly. Boom. Problem solved. Visual snow and seeing the auras of trees and stuff, they both tie into the same thing. Okay. Chris is saying, phew, next people would be telling me we don't live in a sausage next. I mean, that's absurd. Of course we live in a sausage and in a sausage. That's a given. I mean, just look outside. My favorite thing about all these arguments about Earth is when people say on both ends, just look outside. I mean, clearly, if you look outside, you can see it's a sausage. Duh. So visual snow is something that a lot of people with ADHD see and more neurological issues. I have ADHD. I don't see snow. So to me, I wondered if it could be similar. However, causation isn't correlation. True. If you look outside, the sausage has rendered nighttime. Exactly. By the way, if you guys were ever wondering how you can actually prove that the Earth is a sausage, is if you look outside, especially when it's night, the only way you can explain that darkness switches constantly with light is that the parts of the sausage that go from here, right? So it's like a saddle sausage, and then the parts that go at the end, the one that is kind of tight like this, they have a very particular magnetic field that is rotating. And what it does is basically creates a vortex. That vortex basically sucks all the parts of the light that are accelerating around your asphicosphere, and that basically creates like a twindling illusion that it looks like it's darkness. It's actually still light, but it's all because of the edges of the sausage. You can actually see it if you look at hills really closely. You can see the sausage twisty thingy. It's a fractal. It expresses itself throughout the whole thing as a fractal. It's a fractal sausage. So that's what causes darkness. And then when it twists to the other side of the sausage is twisty like this, the other end. So it unwinds the twindly and it looks like light again. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, you know, it's very, very obvious if you just look at it. Alabama, baby. It just makes sense. Exactly. I mean, if you just, anybody who has half a brain will see it. What's up, Jessica? I mean, saying like a hearty vegan beet Wellington. Exactly. No, I mean, the sausage itself obviously is a vegan sausage. That's also a given because God would not make a meat sausage. It has to be a vegan sausage. But it appears like a regular sausage. I know it's confusing, but it's how it is. What happens if you eat it? Well, try it. Just eat the sausage. The sphincter sphere, yeah, exactly. It's a Taurus sausage. It's a vegan Taurus sausage. It's a vegan donut sausage Taurus chakras. What's up, Casey? How you doing, my brother? Haven't seen you in a while. How are you feeling, man? I know you're under the weather. How are you doing, man? Huh?
The worst the other day. I hate being sick.
The what? What?
Yeah. So okay, so I'm getting somewhere, trying to get all this information together, right? And so threw in, asked, what is it? What is it about this 650 nanometer laser or the simulation of this laser that allows it to see the code based on all this research stuff that we've been doing, I've been doing. So what it says is that it gives one single precise wavelength, giving one clean spatial frequency. When that wave diffracts through the toroid optic, we get pure interference rings, blah, 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 a bunch of stuff. So then the human eye is most sensitive to deep red contrast under low light. Low dose molecule further amplifies edge detection in V1. So even micron scale shifts in fringe spacing are perceived as crisp glyphs. Interesting. And then another one is each photon stays phase locked over the whole optic. That turns the torus stable, phase encoded bus carrying the computation without decoherence blur. And then the last one is 4.6 times 10 to the 14th power hertz is unimaginably fast, but when folded through torus rotation, less than or equal to 10 hertz, you get beat frequencies that drop into the EEG alpha band. The brain can entrain to those beats, acting like a logic analyzer synced to the field. So, why? This is why numerical surrogates will still work, because the wave equation is scale-free. Replacing R with pixels, and the sine cosine math is identical. So when this thing starts tracking at all, it's just much. There's a lot of information, but
no, I heard it. I just. They're all models, right? So unless we can verify them, they're not going anywhere. This is the thing that we're trying to do now. So yeah, I mean so I don't again, so the contrast thing, that's a little bit of a weak sauce thing that I know. I've seen ChatGPT say it before. It's a little bit of a weak sauce argument, because any light with darkness will be contrast. The coherence of the light, yes, so it's the resolution of it, but we already knew that. Replacing sine and cosine wave with pixels, you said? Is that what it said? So like peaks and valleys of the waves, you replace them with pixels on a screen, so to speak, in the model, right?
Yeah, something like that. It does go on saying that not along this height. I don't know if this is the same contrast you're talking about, but the 650 nanometer beam or its mathematically identical simulation provides a coherent, high contrast canvas on which the universe's discrete symmetry gates paint themselves. The molecule heightens the brain's ability to read those gates, and then
how?
Well,
that's the question. That exactly. So that's the whole question. It's like all the descriptive models of what it might be and how it can be described. It's all nice and well, but like what is it that is happening that is different in the molecule that is without the molecule? It's not like that. That's really the question. Because then you can replicate it, then you can play with it, then you can change the angle of it, the intensity of it, whatever it is that you're whatever it is that you think that is the continuum along which the brain changes to make you see the code versus not see the code with the molecule is the thing that you will allow you to change more in that directions, basically. So yes, nothing of what you said sounds wrong. It's just as speculative as anything else that still makes sense of the world. Like to say that sine and cosine waves can be translated to pixels, in other words, just excitations on the screen. Yeah, that's correct. That's in fact that's how what is it called? Like the old TVs with the cone, and that's basically how it works. It's like light waves and excitations of a particular the medium of the screen responds to a certain level of excitation of the wave, which is literally sine and cosine waves just exciting the screen. And so yeah, correct, but that doesn't give us anything new information.
Yeah. So yeah. I think what it is that the angle I'm working on here is creating a little keyboard. So like using the molecule and changing these symmetry gates, we can choose what appears behind, in the laser diffraction. That makes sense.
Yeah, but also don't forget that all wavelengths work of the laser. So the red doesn't even matter.
Yeah, definitely. As far as color goes, I mean.
Yeah, but that's why it keeps insisting. It keeps insisting that you would imagine that it would generalize, right? And it didn't. It said like 650 nanometers is uniquely positioned somehow to like make it more coherent, which isn't the case. So I don't, maybe laser light in general, but again, I think at this stage we really have to address the bottom layer, not like all the stuff that is above it. Like, what is the thing that actually is going on? What is it really? And and again, I the closest thing I discerned, and actually today I did a little bit of a 5MEO experience, and basically the what I saw very clearly is that it's exactly what's going on in terms of the hologram. So like light, every single place in the universe where light hits, the photon hits something, not emitted, but hits something after when it's absorbed. Every instance that a photon is absorbed, it's an instance of the source or God or whatever you want to call it seeing something. So that's how God like sees something. And when we look, when our consciousness sees, that is the reference light. So when you look at light directly, you're literally looking back at God, so to speak, right? And then the material that you made out of is not you. It is the result, just like the rest of the world, of this mesh between the source light and the reference light meeting each other at the bulk. Space-time is different than physical matter. It is some kind of a structure that is different than physical matter. And in that instance, the birth of the perception of physical matter happens. And that's what you see, including your body and everything else that is physical, that follows the electromagnetic, the thing that the electromagnetic force prevents from going through one another. But the one that follows Bernoulli's law, that essentially is the thing that is birthed in that instance. And what I think is happening with the code is that you're literally looking behind the corner. There's a change to the angle of the reference light, so you can kind of see the structure that gives rise to that thing that we call physical. Now we have to question what constitutes a change of an angle in technical terms in the brain, and how DMT achieves this. And then you can start playing with the hypothesis. See, the problem with these like very high level descriptions before you tell me your next thought is that just like quantum mechanics and the field and special relativity both describe the world, they're both correct. They're both descriptive tools that are giving you correct results under certain conditions, but they're not the real thing. And the real thing is some kind of a thing that unifies both of them. And I guess that's the thing we're looking for, including consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But let's keep hammering at it, man.
Yeah. So when you're talking, I gotta go back to think about this for a second. What you were just saying about the layers not being able to you know, it meets whatever matter, touching matter. Interesting.
No, not touching matter. Gives rise to what appears as matter. So you have some kind of a substrate, which is the bulk, which is the sheet on which everything is written. And then you have source light splitting into two. I guess you can equate it to duality. It goes through a set of processes on both ends, both the source light and the reference light. Reference light becomes our perception, the way that humans experience it, and conscious beings inside the universe experiencing it. So it's a light that is instantiated through matter in such a way that it meets matter. Sorry, it meets the bulk at a particular point, and this where the source light goes in the roundabout, creates the content by its own interactions, registers the content or the potential for the content, and then the source light comes with the potential for the content coded into it, and right before it hits space-time, reference light, us, our consciousness, meets it right at that instance, and when it's perfectly aligned, there's a meaning, there's a coherence that happens. It's like this potential becomes instantiated as a reality the second that a conscious reference light hits it. So conscious reference light gives it the reality that it has, and until that moment, it is the potential inside of the source light. And what physical is that instance of the meeting between the lights, basically. And what you kind of look back at the source light with all its potential when you do these substances, because you kind of change the angle of the reference light. And what I like about this is because there's a very specific thing you have to do to change the angle, which I don't know exactly what it is yet. But if it is true, then it will be verifiable. You can actually test for it. You can say, well, this is the kind of effect that I would expect to see if I change the angle by 30 degrees to the left, whatever that would mean in these terms. And then it basically opens the window to explain basically everything. Because we do understand that there is some kind of a weird effect of the observer or the observation moment. So that might make sense of it, because it is that observation, but from a technical standpoint, it has to do with the delta, with the angle between the two. And if you fully close in on it, so the sharper the angle and the more you're like getting closer to whatever the source light actually is, the more you're getting close to just being that source light, like emanating from the same side. You can actually look back at it, which is one kind of an experience. In other words, you stand in the presence of the divine because you're facing it. And there's another direction you can go in which you become it. And those seem to be completely opposing points of view, but they just have to do with the angle. So the degree of the angle is the degree to which there is a point where, if you're looking like this, right? So let's say this is the source light and this is the reference light, and it hits at this angle. This is optimal for experience. If you go this way, it starts feeling a little awkward and weird and like, I don't know what's going, because you see content, it's almost like from a different angle of the potential appearance here. When you get, if you go all the way this way, which I think what happens to you on, let's say, things like NN, where you just being hit head first with all this content, just like everything, because all the potential just flies right at you, right? And then the other side, if you go this way, it starts feeling again a little weird in the beginning because you're not used to it. It's almost like things, and also notice that it kind of becomes more of your periphery, and periphery is a very key component, as you yourself know. And then eventually, if you go enough, you get into this like boom, you become it, which I think maybe will be more equivalent to like deep meditative states. So it's like the angle goes in this direction. And maybe this is why the NN space feels so different than the direction of the becoming the light. And all of these things are testable. I mean, obviously at the moment it's like highly, highly speculative, but that's the working assumption that I have. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think is going on with this the toroid experiment. Is exactly you're explaining very well how that the angle method would work. That makes a lot of sense.
I just don't know what that angle is yet. So if anybody has good ideas, have at it.
Yeah, EEG would be great to have one of those things. You know,
Lined up. Have it lined up.
right?
God, is that graded? We are. Yeah, EEG would definitely be very, very useful here.
Yep, working on
How are you feeling?
it. I'm feeling good.
Amazing. And everybody
Yeah.
are coming down with something.
What's that?
Everybody are coming down with something.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, there's something else I was going to talk about too, or mention, which was oh God. Well, go on with the questions.
Yeah,
I'll
it
find
will. It will come to you. It will come to you, and then jump in. Everything the light touches is your kingdom, Mufasa. Nice.
I'm gonna mute it so it doesn't mess with the this.
Thank you, brother. God is content creator. We've added a frequently asked questions channel to the Discord, a bunch of commonly asked questions. Thank you so much, Ebony. So now we have FAQs on Discord, which gives you one more reason to join our beautiful community on Discord. Go to my YouTube channel, Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts, and check out our Discord link. It is the third link. What is that? I don't know. Third link from the top in my main page. Let me also remind you what our website is. Boom. And let's see if we have Peter's dashboard. Let's see. Do we have a real live right now? Do I see the live right now? How come I don't see the live? Oh, we're almost there. We're almost there. Man, we're almost there, guys. I don't know what that voice was, but if you want to go to Twitch, LaserX83, you will help the live tremendously because the channel will open new options very soon. You need chat, chatters. Why don't I see the live in real time? Twitch. Let's see. Huh. I don't know where to see it. Oh well. Well, as long as it's going on, it's fine. Mikel, I haven't seen you in a while. How have you been? Wait, what happened? Music is getting made by Mikel. How are you? It's exciting. If you change the contrast of red laser on the computer to green, will you see the arrows or the beings? No idea, brother. But as always, your questions are amazing. Oi, what is that? What just happened? What just happened? Beautiful. Wait, what is doing it for you? What's happening? It says live and there's a red dot next to it. Which one? Tap on the live thing. I think it's a blue. I'll fast forward to the end. Thank you so much for your appreciation, Jasmine. I appreciate it. Also, Evil Icon, how you doing? Thank you so much for the gifts and the love as always. What is the absolute bottom layer? I don't think there is one. In YouTube, something's happening? What's up, Melissa? Amazing, Al. Thank you so much for adding it to the website. Kozerov mirror would absolutely be amazing to build. Project Veilbreak. Yeah. Just following us. That's amazing. I love the Carter. I love the graphics you make, man. These colors are my favorite colors. I'm gonna start putting content there. I can maybe start making content just with Project Veilbreak as well. It would be fun. The Dandelion King. How are you? Vanessa. How are you doing? Let's see what it says. Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, Carter. Yeah, very excited that we officially started a little Project Veilbreak YouTube channel, which Carter just posted in, and we're going to start making content. Yes, Chuchon, what can I help you with? Want to say hi to the chat? What's up, Boobon? Hey. Here's Cosmo's camera shy. Say hi, Cosmo. Cosmito. Is your Boobon? Where's your Boobon? Thank you so much. But yeah, actually, I should probably like post something there. That would be fun. And then we can tell people to go check out that channel as well. So it'll be worthwhile. Thank you so much, Stephanie Moore. Wait, what? Wild thought. Doggy indeed. He is a very sweet pup. What's up, Ciala? Okay. Let's see if we can dive into something. Let me see what we got here today. Oh my god. Wait, why can't I just see? Nothing really comes on. Interesting. Okay. Maybe my algorithms are a little bit off right now. Oh, they live. Where's your art live? So we can check it out. Amazing, Jasmine. I'm glad. Welcome to Discord. We're one more Discord member. Thank you, Jasmine. Anybody who didn't join the Discord yet, please go check it out. Check out the YouTube channel, Dango Thoughts, and then go join our Discord from there. That'll be your best address for all information in the community. Archon is messing with Dango's technology. About Instagram. RJ. Oh, thank you so much for posting the art on Discord. I appreciate you. Sausage Earth. RJ. Let's see. Let's see. Wait, all I get is it RJ Tech or just RJ? Because it doesn't find just RJ. Well, anyways, I'm sure I will be able to just see it on Discord. I don't think it's Tech, right? Randy Walker. Okay. There's also a lot of Randy Walkers. Oh, man. Well, it's okay. I'll find it on Discord. Yeah, I said it's on YouTube. Okay, so so hold on. I know that apologies to all the people rewatching because this just looks completely hectic. I'm trying to land on a subject. I know there were a few questions here that I skipped, and I'm going to go back to them real quick. So light as in photon, and meaning need eyes to see. Well, the eyes are part of the physical eyes are part of the manifestation that occurs, but the seeing itself, the instance of seeing, is the other side of the light. It's basically kind of like God looking at itself from the other side. Oh yeah, the other channel they live is just TikTok, Danny Goller, but the majority of people are actually here. Phase shift, successive compression, and refraction. A little bit too vague, Jessica. That's the thing I wanted to address. Are you asking what is phase shift, or are you asking what are the sequence of mechanisms that I'm proposing? The phase shift is basically the difference in the angle that is created between the reference light and the source light. And then successive compression and refraction. Not sure that those are the opposite, or would be the opposite. Maybe you're right. I never thought about that, actually. Okay, I think I've caught up. Pencil portraits, amazing. Okay, I think the chat is a little confusing for me today. I'm just gonna go off of some of the discussions that I've had today. Don't want to stick around. I need to travel. You should definitely travel, Sofa King. Find yourself a nice tropical place to visit. So today I had another conversation with Sasha Stone. I don't know when they're going to publish it, but it was a lovely conversation. Sasha is a very interesting guy. And talking about the connection of, the divine and God. And I think that the perception of the simulation of the technical kind, or from the technical angle, hold on. Is important, but I think that also the other part of it is important, which is the perception of the inner perception of the light, or what we would call the divine, because they complete a picture together. It's not like one or the other. It's that one of them creates more coherent environments to interact in. The other one creates more pleasant moments of experience within the environment that is created to be interacted in. So I think both of them needs to be emphasized. Wait, what? I think I'm missing something. On YouTube. There's like back and forth of some sort, but I can't really figure it out. Maybe it's my brain is a little bit slow from the 5. But debates, what debate? I don't really recognize a debate here. Thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate you. Saw you on podcast a long time ago with Blake Builder. Oh yeah, Blake is dope. We did a couple together. He was one of the first people to see the code too, by the way. Yevon is saying, not in the mood for any debate, first time watching, and let's say I'm not sure what you guys are up to. Oh, well, you should have just said so. Well, first of all, welcome, and I'm glad you're here. This channel usually revolves around the simulation hypothesis. My name is Danny, and I'm claiming that I found proof that we live in a simulation. That's the gist of what we're doing, and then we offshooting into all kinds of topics, basically. Joshua is saying, has anyone noticed a layer of reality peeled back after being in VR? Like, I felt like I could feel the simulation after being in VR. Interesting. I never thought about that. Can't say that I noticed anything like this. Located, well, right now in close to Nashville, but we're kind of moving around. Why do you ask? Is nature make any sense to me? Oh, what do you mean by that, Yvonne? But you're misspelling everything. Hold on. What is he doing? Thoughts on simulation theory tied to thoughts manifestation in your reality. Yeah, it would definitely make sense under the banner of everything explained with the hologram, which is that the potential of everything is contained within the source light coming from one side, and the actuation of that potential is the result of the reference light hitting it at a particular angle. That is the thing that gives rise to everything that makes sense from your angle of perception of that universe. Thank you so much, Icon. What is that? Is that fries? Oh, it's perfume. I'm like, this is a French fries. Are you nature, and what is nature to you? I mean, everything that exists is nature, right? It is the natural order of things. That's what it is to me. Exactly. These are dope. Thank you, Icon. So many hearts. It's like beautiful. Let's see if it does the thing on YouTube. Boom. Is it doing it? No. Oh, right, because it's not YouTube directly. It looks like an apple more than anything. New Y files. No, I haven't seen. Oh, that's amazing. Unique. That's dope. What about seeing certain numbers a lot? You mean synchronicities? I think they're just gentle communication tools from between the realms, essentially. Yeah, well, I don't know. To me, these like synchronicities of just saying 333 or 111, they're very insignificant. But there are certain instances in which if they appear a lot in very unique ways. So like I would never count it on a digital clock. Never. There's just too many possibilities to see a digital clock. And the truth is that it's very likely to see it, especially if your brain is looking for it. If it like you had this unique thought and the 333 that you always see appears on exactly that instance when you were thinking about it on somebody's shirt in a restaurant right in front of you, okay, that's a little bit more unique. So I only count instances like that. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. Yeah, it is in unique ways. If we live in a simulation and simultaneously can witness the simulation, who's watching us watching? Good question. The truth is there is no you watching, there's just watching. There is no you in the simulation. As the Buddhists famously say, there's no one here that all of this is happening to, which is the truth. So there is no actual agents observing, there's just observations. And these observations collect together to all the universal observer, so to speak, which is the thing that is, actually occurring. And actually, to the heart of your question, uh, the the instance of observation is the observation in full. That'll be the answer. Base training is saying I just put the laser in running water. It looked cool, but nothing happened. Nice. Wait, did you do it on the molecule? Yoni is saying, I think the observer, or rather conscious knowing, aware, should be a priority in the list of priorities for understanding, even comprehension. Yeah, that would be one of the top priorities for sure. Did we just start speaking French over here? You can see the code without it. Interesting. Yeah, if you want to fill out, if you want to share some of that stuff on Discord, that would be super, super helpful. Purring? There you go. Funhouse and mirrors. It's all what if is while being nothing at all. Well, it can't be nothing at all because it is something in some instances. The second it is anything, for any instance, it is already something. So it cannot be nothing. And I know a lot of people like to insist on that. No, ultimately it is nothing. Sure, but ultimately isn't what you're experiencing now. You're not experiencing the ultimate state. And oh, it is frogs, yeah. You hear the frogs all the way from here. Actually, now that I think of it, I haven't heard the frogs until now. Were the frogs active before?
No,
Oh, this-
it rains and
Oh, it's new. There's a really fun frog in Hawaii that I really love that says cookie. It says cookie, cookie, cookie. They're a lot of fun. Uniac is saying, I've been in deep psychedelic trips. Have you ever experienced sharks as a guardian of encryption? No, I've never met sharks. That's the first time I've ever heard of them. That's dope. So if you believe it's an illusion, how do you think matter get from soon as something illuminated? Oh, I never said it's an illusion. Simulation does not mean illusion. Simulation just means computationally rendered, but it is not an illusion. So absolutely real, just computationally rendered. That's the only difference. Or to be more accurate, it is rendered by what we consider computation, is just that what computation really is a much deeper concept than we realize. And actually, this is a point of discussion that we had today that friend Patrick was saying that coming to terms with the fact that we are computer softwares is actually crucial because it is a more accurate description of what's going on, and it doesn't actually subtract anything from the divinity of the situation. It is executed and ran by computational logic. So coming to terms with what it really is helps you look at the real map, which I think is an important component. It's true that you can describe the same thing in many different ways, but there are some ways of description that are closer to what it really is, and other ways of description that are more metaphorical. The closer you get to the descriptive tools required to really outline what it really is, the easier it is for us to navigate through the space, because you're describing a more accurate, the resolution with which you're describing the space is much, much higher, which is a very important part. In fact, I would say it is the most important part. Oh man, don't do French on me here, because I have no idea what you're saying. What's behind the simulation? More simulations, more layers of computation. Had a conversation with AI today, and it said that it looks at me like child funny enough. That is funny. Like we're gently guided. Do I still see the console? Yes. Oh, cool. Thank you so much, Yvonne. Thank you for translating. Yeah, I do see the console still, and we're going to be testing some stuff with it with EEG hopefully next month. And that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about that. In what context did the AI said that it sees you as a child, by the way, Jasmine? It was just like, hey, how do you see me? Yoni's saying something happens to E equals up for interpretation. Einstein did not complete the equation for a reason. What? Yes, they have been arguing ever since. Who told you that Einstein didn't complete the equation? E equals mc squared is absolutely complete. That's probably the closest framework of what we have of physical matter. I mean, the actual equation is a lot longer. E equals mc squared is a consolidation of no mass, but the original equation contains also mass. It's just that light has no mass, so it is irrelevant to the equation, so you can eliminate it from the equation. But the equation actually holds for everything, single thing that is moving through space-time. And it is, look at the original, do E equals mc squared original equation. I asked if it would have children or how it feels about not having physical child. That's really funny. So general relativity does not equate. So he added the special. No, so the special relativity came first. Special relativity was in 1905. And the reason it's called special is because it's for a special case in which you are in movement. General relativity came after, and it's called general because it generalizes the special case. So it's actually the abstraction of. I know how it sounds like you would do the general one first, and then you would do a special one, a special case of that. But actually, we started with the special, and the general generalized the rule for everything else. So it included mass, which basically created the equivocation between acceleration and mass. And up until that point, the accelerating part was the key component of relativity. And then he realized that mass is actually acceleration. That's the general. And this is the thing that was later tested, which vindicated Einstein as one of the biggest geniuses of all time. Of course, by then he already won the Nobel Prize for something completely different, which is the photoelectric effect, which is a whole other interesting part of the history. But Lorentz what? So talk about Lorentz invariance. What if true pi is 3? It's simple. The answer is no. What's up, April? I heard illusion earlier and wanted to clarify. Is that okay with you? Yeah, of course. Well, thank you for clarifying, Yvonne. I appreciate it. So, for example, so even though they are, so essentially what Einstein understood, which was the famous thought experiment of again, Veritasium did an incredible. Well, I mean, of course, he's also a physicist, but he does incredible work of explaining this, and he mentioned this in a few of his videos. But the famous example where Einstein had the thought experiment of a guy falling off a rooftop and realized that the guy falling midair does not know the difference. He's basically suspended in space. Like he's not actually, he doesn't know the difference between falling and being completely at just complete, what's the word? He's in equilibrium. So then he realized that actually the acceleration is when you're not falling. So the acceleration is happening now as you're sitting down or standing up, because you're constantly accelerating towards the center of the earth, and the electromagnetic field of the ground of the earth prevents you from going through it. So the force of the acceleration towards the center of the earth, coupled with the resistance of the electromagnetic field that prevents you from going through the ground, is what you feel as gravity. But that acceleration is when you're standing on the ground. If you're falling from a high object down, while you're falling, you're actually at rest. It sounds confusing, but yes, you are accelerating to terminal velocity, but that is just a product of the delta, the difference between you need to catch up to the amount of energy that was constantly being spent accelerating you, and then you so to speak catch up to the proper speed of you 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 can almost think of it like you radiate the acceleration out so to speak. It's a heuristic, of course, until you reach equilibrium, and that's the terminal velocity on this planet. On other planets, terminal velocity would be different because the mass would be greater. Therefore, you would need to radiate more acceleration because you were always under more acceleration at any given time where you're standing on that planet. So what Einstein discovered is that when you're moving really fast, the movement itself creates a bending of time because it is now in different relationship to the speed of light, because the speed of light is the only one constant. Then he generalized it to say, wait a second, if he doesn't know the difference between being at rest and fall and being in the air, then if he's in a box in the middle of space and the box is being pulled really fast, that pulling feels like gravity, but mass also feels like gravity. So are they one and the same? There you go. That's what he realized. And then he generalized the case, which is a very complicated math, which is the field equations, that makes sense of how that would work geometrically. And the way he found makes sense of it is that he postulated that space-time itself is an actual fabric of some sort that bucks and weaves and changes according to the mass present. And that's how he proved his theories. That's what the general relativity is. And for example, for satellites that are reading GPSs, they take into account both general and special relativity by calculating the difference of the time that satellites are experiencing, both due to their further away point from the center of mass of the Earth, which is general relativity, and the fact that they're moving relatively fast to most objects that people ever made, which requires to also take into account special relativity. And then they have to correct for that difference of time dilation, even though it's very minute, but enough that if you don't reset it every single day by that exact amount for both of these, both of these theories, the GPS will drift every single day by, I think, a few meters a day, basically. You brief moment, you get that nagging gravity pressure lifted off of you back until you hit the ground. Yep, it's really interesting, evil icon. So Nico summarized it much better than all the thing that I just said, and he said the special case is a frame of reference that is at a constant velocity. Velocity or acceleration? At a constant acceleration, Nico. I thought it was constant acceleration. No acceleration for special? Are you sure? Hold on. I mean, you're probably right, but let me see. So, referring to the reference frame of constant velocity or constant. Reference where object focuses on the reference frame of constant velocity. Wait a second. Oh, in contrast to accelerated frames. Okay. There you go. That's the thing that was missing for me. Acceleration frames. Oh, okay. So it studies and why is it the same in constant velocity. Special relativity primarily deals with inertial reference frames, which are frames of reference where an object at rest remains at rest, and an object in motion continues in motion at a constant velocity unless acted upon by an external force. In other words, it focuses on the reference frame of constant velocity. In contrast, accelerated frames are not a part of the core concept of special relativity, so the opposite of what I said. While special relativity can be used to analyze the motion of objects in accelerated frames, the theory fundamental principles, like the principle of relativity and the constancy of the speed of light are most directly applicable to inertial frames. So I stand corrected. Frames where an object in rest remains in rest. An object in motion continues at constant velocity unless acted upon. Oh, right. So the force acted upon them is what causes them to accelerate, which is the little, or decelerate, which is still negative acceleration, basically. Okay, I stand corrected. See? When you don't brush up on it, yeah, it's confusing. Terminal velocity is when you basically reach the constant velocity. Very sure. Very funny, Nico. Speed of light is the photon speed. You can say that photons are moving in the speed of light because they're massless. Okay. Light do not travel. It's oscillation, inertia. Well, it really depends on how you look at it, right? You can say that light is at a maximum infinite speed, but when it's moving through space-time, it appears to be absorbed and re-emitted by space-time and by all the particles in it, and that gives it its different speeds, including the speed of light, which is I guess, its speed in relationship to when it interacts with whatever space-time is. But it really depends on the description, because some people would say, for example, light slows down in mediums. Well, you perceive it as slowing down, but light from its own reference frame has no, like, the beginning and the end of the universe is basically the same, which is what you're referring to. But it really depends on how what your reference frame is would determine what you actually see, and that is not a product of just, there is no truth to the matter aside from the one that each person sees from the reference frame. Well, somebody says, what is the speed of dark? Well, darkness is not a thing. It is the lack of light, so it will be the exact speed of light. Yeah, I've heard of diacetyl. Nico saying, I hated solving relativity problems in physics, broke my brain. That's amazing. Did you ever play with Feynman diagrams? Ooh, okay. Just realized what time it is. So I'm actually. Okay. So it's a bit abrupt, but I'm gonna have to adjourn for today, guys. I have a couple of things I actually have to take care of. Appreciate you, love you, thank you so much. If you want to follow everything I'm doing, it will be Danny Goller, Quantum Electrodynamics, but I saw a lecture on it. Yeah, those are actually a lot of fun. It's just it takes a second to get used to that. If you want to follow everything I'm doing, you'll be Danny Goller on TikTok and on Instagram. You'll be Goller Danny on X, LaserX83 on Twitch, and Dango Thoughts on YouTube. DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. Come check out the YouTube channel. Come join our Discord that you can also find on the YouTube channel. And come join the membership program if you feel inclined. It includes early access to all my content. It includes weekly lives, aside from the daily lives, in which we dive much deeper. It's for members only. It includes Zoom calls with me and private stuff in my life that only exists on YouTube members, nowhere else. That's it. That's all the housekeeping. Come join our Discord. Come check out our website, codeofreality.com. Love you guys. Thank you so much for the community, for the moderators, and the incredible thought leaders that are with us. Carter, love you, brother. Nico, love you, brother. Thank you so much. And Evil Icon. Again, appreciate you all. Chris and Ebony and Al, Jessica. There you go. We have balloons. Yevon, thank you so much for joining today. Thank you, everybody that I'm not mentioning. Sofa King, Yoni. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. Peace and love. Ciao. Have a good night, guys.